Hey, Jeff here from the Nurture Nature Center coming at you with another Science at Home video. And today I want to talk about hurricanes. Now, the official start of hurricane season is June 1st, and it extends to November 30th, although they can happen at any time of the year. And the peak of hurricane season is actually in September. In this video, I want to explain what hurricanes are and show you two ways that we can model the behavior of a hurricane, including one that you can do at home. And towards the end of the video, I'll show you how you can make your own emergency prep kit, like this one, which has everything you need in it to stay safe during a natural disaster, including hurricanes. So let's get started. A hurricane is a rapidly rotating storm system that can bring strong winds, heavy rain that can lead to flooding, and cause storm surges on coastlines. They form in the tropics over warm water, and they tend to move northwest while they're near the equator, and this tends to shift towards a northeasterly track the further north they go. They weaken and they can break up if they move over colder water or over land. Now, the word hurricane kind of tells us where this rotating storm is occurring, because we only refer to them as hurricanes when they form in the Atlantic Ocean or in the eastern Pacific Ocean. This same kind of storm, if it forms in the western Pacific Ocean, it's referred to there as a typhoon. And if it occurs in the Indian Ocean or near Australia, it's referred to as a cyclone. And the term tropical cyclone applies to all of these kinds of spinning cyclonic storm systems. And I've used the word spin a couple times, and you're going to see in a moment when we look at our first model that we're going to simulate the behavior of a hurricane by causing a fluid to rotate. So this is a device called a Coriolis Scope, and basically it allows us to see turbulence or movement in water very easily. So the way it's set up is it's a Lazy Susan, and I've glued a clear acrylic disc to the top of this, and I filled it with water that I added blue food coloring to, and I added what is called rheoscopic fluid, which is just microscopic little tiny particles of mica, which kind of look like glitter when they catch the light just right. So if I set this spinning, the mica is disturbed and it floats up into the water, and you can see all these beautiful patterns forming, all these little swirls. And if you get this spinning just right, it really begins to look just like a hurricane. You know, when you're looking at a particularly dangerous hurricane, you might notice that they have very well developed eye wall. You can see this spiral pattern on a powerful hurricane. And if I get this spinning just right, you might notice that you can see spiral arms. There is a system to measure the intensity of a hurricane called the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale. And it just measures how powerful a hurricane is with a category system from 1 to 5, with Category 1 hurricanes being the least powerful and Category 5 hurricanes being the most powerful. So a Category 1 hurricane is a hurricane with wind speeds from anywhere between 74 and 95 miles per hour. Hurricane Sandy was a Category 1 hurricane when it made landfall in northern New Jersey on October 29, 2012. And yet it remains the 5th costliest hurricane in U.S. history. Category 2 hurricane is 96 to 110 miles per hour, and Hurricane Diane in 1955 was a Category 2 hurricane when it made landfall. Category 3 hurricanes have wind speeds between 111 and 129 miles per hour. Hurricane Ivan, when it hit Florida in 2004, was Category 3. A Category 4 hurricane has wind speeds from 130 to 156 miles per hour. Hurricane Harvey was a Category 4 hurricane when it made landfall in 2017. Let's get the Coriolis Scope going really fast, because Category 5 hurricanes have wind speeds from 157 miles per hour and up. So anything above 157 miles per hour is a Category 5 hurricane. And Hurricane Katrina in 2005 and Hurricane Michael in 2018 are both examples of Category 5 hurricanes. Okay, the Coriolis Scope certainly is a beautiful way to show the spiral arms of a hurricane, or something that looks like the spiral arms of a hurricane. But there's another way that we can simulate the behavior of a hurricane that's much more accurate, and that's because it does use temperature differences. So to do this, what you're going to need is a bowl, and you're going to need to fill that bowl with hot water, as hot as you can get. Be careful not to hurt yourself, of course. And then you're going to need a tray, a circular dish, or something like that to put on top of the bowl. And to that, you're going to want to add a drop of dish detergent and enough water to fill up that dish. And you're also going to need a straw. And all we're going to do here is we're going to blow bubbles. We're going to actually blow one gigantic bubble that will cover the top of this entire dish here. Okay, so once we've blown our bubble, we just have to set it spinning. And as soon as we do that, we now have two forces at work here. We have the spinning effect, and we have the convective effect, because we have a warm bowl and cooler air surrounding it. And the combination of this convection and this rotation that we add to the bubble creates a system that really behaves very similar to the atmosphere of the Earth. And if you look very closely within that bubble, you can see these sort of spirals of color. This method of mimicking the behavior of a hurricane works so well that physicists at the University of Bordeaux use these bubbles. They study videos just like the ones you're seeing now to actually better understand the behavior of real hurricanes. Okay, so in the experiments that we did, we saw how a hurricane forms and how it behaves. But now I want to talk about what you should do, how you should behave when you hear that a hurricane is coming your way. It's a good idea to be prepared, to have a plan, to know what to do in the event of a natural disaster. And one of the best ways that you can do that is to have a kit, a bag set aside with emergency supplies. So the idea here is to pack the essentials. Think of this kind of like preparing, for going on a camping trip, right? Only in this case you're going to be either sheltering in place, or you're going to be perhaps evacuating somewhere. You're going to want to have inside your bag is some bottled water. Or if you don't have bottled water, iodine tablets, or some way to filter water to make sure that you have a source of clean drinking water. Another basic need is food that is shelf-stable, something that you can put in here and you'll still be able to eat it. It'll still be safe to eat, months or maybe even years later. Canned goods are another good option. You need a basic first aid kit inside your emergency preparedness bag. So here's a basic first aid kit that has things that you need to clean an injury. Battery-operated light of some kind is an excellent idea, like this one. Even safer are glow sticks, chemical glow sticks, the kind that you have to bend to activate. Those are the safest way to provide emergency lighting. Your cell phone might not be working during some kind of natural disaster, and a radio is actually your most reliable tool for getting emergency information. Basic toiletries, here's a toothbrush that I keep inside my kit, some utensils, some eating utensils, space blanket. These do not take up a lot of space, so they're great inside an emergency prep bag. Maybe some rubbing alcohol is a good idea. Another nice thing to have in your bag is some kind of multi-tool, like a Swiss Army knife. This is a great one. It has a set of pliers, it has a couple different kinds of knives, an extra battery or two with a charging cable for a cell phone is also a great idea. Alright, so this is definitely an activity that I want to make sure you do. It's great if you do the bubble activity too, but I really hope that everyone at home makes their own emergency prep bag. But that's it for this week. Catch you next time.